Ashley, and today I'm going to be talking about New York Times versus U.S., which was a case in 1971 over the First Amendment because a national security staff member named Daniel Ellsberg leaked top secret papers to the New York Times and Washington Post, and these papers contained information that the United States had been acting illegally and had bombed Cambodia and Laos. This went to court, and Justice Black and Justice Douglas were all for the information being leaked. They argued that according to the First Amendment, Congress shall make no law that abridges the freedom of the press. They also said that the press was to serve the people, not the government, and that the free press can expose deception in the government. Justice White and Justice Stewart agreed with Black and Douglas, stating that without freedom of the press, people are kept in the dark. Justice Brennan agrees, saying that no one should block the publication of materials that were suppressed by the government. However, Justice Marshall and Justice Berger did not agree, saying that the documents should have gone to Congress first and they should have gone through them together to see what should have been published and what shouldn't have. Justice Blackmun weighs in, saying that while the First Amendment does state that Congress cannot make any new laws to limit the freedom of press, there's more to the Constitution, specifically Article 2, which states that the executive branch has primary power over foreign affairs and ultimately the nation's safety. The ethical dilemmas in this case are that a former worker at the Pentagon illegally leaked information to the New York Times and the Washington Post, which is illegal, and the government lying to the public about the Vietnam War and the bombing in Cambodia and Laos is also very wrong ethically, but I don't believe that it's illegal. And the way this case fits into the 9 principles of journalism is, the first one is journalism's first obligation is to the truth. So when this former security officer leaked this information to the press, it was illegal, but he had right to, because people had to know what was really going on in Vietnam, especially that we bombed 2 cities without anybody knowing. And the second principle is that the press's first loyalty is to its citizens. So, like I said before, people didn't know that the bombing of Laos was happening. Same with the bombing in Cambodia. So they were kind of kept in the dark, and that's being loyal to your citizens by telling them the truth and not letting the government suppress this information. Practitioners must maintain an independence from those they cover. That kind of doesn't really relate to this case. Neither does its essence is discipline and verification. It must serve as an independent monitor of power, so the power being the government, in that they said, like, no, you should not have the right to censor these papers and go through them and see what can be published and can't be published. And the rest of the 9 didn't really apply to this case that much, so I'm not going to talk about them. However, there is a modern day case that kind of mirrors this one, except that it's about freedom of speech when it comes to businesses, particularly private businesses. Like, this case is called Institute Family and Life Advocates versus Becerra, Becerra. And in this case, this abortion clinic was pro-life, and they were being forced by the state of California under California law that they had to say that they offered cheap abortion rates, and they had to give phone numbers and websites for women to call if they needed an abortion. But since they were pro-life, they didn't really want to do that, and they went to court and they fought it, and I believe they won because of freedom of speech. So yeah, it's another case about freedom of speech, and that the government can't tell people what they can and can't do ultimately, especially if it's a private business and it's a business that's not funded by the government. So the evolution of media makes it easier to speak out against things that are wrong. For the most part, you can say and do whatever you want, and this case highlighted that. It is your right as an American, and the government has no right to take it away from you. So I think that case really showed America that that was true, and that the government can't limit what gets put out there,